This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean, and Pierre Novellie is with us today.
Hello.
You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, email the show via frank at absoluteradio.co.uk. Okay, Pierre, welcome. I know you've done the show quite a bit just lately, but only because I had the COVIDs.
Yes.
Me and Emily should have been at the Emirates this afternoon watching, can't say ladies anymore, give me a minute, the Arsenal women's team?
Yeah.
Yes, Arsenal.
Personally, I'm okay with ladies. But,
Yeah.
you know, there we go.
Arsenal women versus Tottenham Dames. I don't know what the current term is, but I know.
was so excited.
I know if they miss a penalty, you can't say miss, you have to say Ms. But anyway, that was cancelled for the COVID. I thought it was over. I honestly thought it was over.
I know.
Before or after you had it yourself?
After I'd had it,
After
I
you
thought
had
that's
it.
it done. I thought I was like the top going back on the tube, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Anyway, here's the thing. Here is a funny thing. I had me porridge this morning, and I don't know how you have your porridge, but I had a bit of lemon curd.
You presume too much, sir.
Yeah, maybe you don't have porridge. I know you're not a carbs enthusiast. But lemon curd, and I thought to myself, there was a thing on a text in on Radio 1 this morning. What do you think you're the first person to do in Britain this morning? And I thought, I'm probably the first person to have lemon curd and porridge. And I wondered, I think that's like bucking the trend. And I thought, you could have a text in on a radio show was, what is your breakfast trend bucker? What's your trend bucker, Steve? So what do you have for breakfast that people don't normally have? What do you do to your breakfast? What do you think? It's got like a proper text in.
Yeah.
Like you'd get like if I was a real DJ guy.
Yeah, and also you've tried to sort of invent a little catchy phrase as well.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Trendbucker, I like that.
Yeah. Well, not many people would take on trend bucker on live radio. I mean, I'm like that guy who walked, but you know, in New York, the guy on the high wire, man on wire.
That's it.
Just out of interest, are we going to take that on
Yes,
live radio?
if you buck any breakfast
It's already making
breakfastarian
me feel a bit
trends,
stiff
no,
with
it's going to be
stress.
fine. Honestly, if you'll just trust me, it's going to be. So, Pierre, I should say, was, and I don't want to diminish him in any way, but he was my support act on my last tour.
Yes.
And on our long London run at the Garrick Theatre. So he came in this morning and said to me, I've never seen you in a hooded top before, because normally I'm in stage mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Full suit.
Yeah, full suit and all that. And
that
Pierre
surprises me.
likes a velvet. He's not afraid of the lint. He will wear a velvet jacket
I
on
will.
stage. Sort of Cyril Fletcher type of. Do you know what Cyril Fletcher is, Pierre? I don't know if he made it to South Africa.
Maybe not.
He probably did. I imagine he played there regularly in the 70s.
Can I ask a question? Because you two,
Yes.
you like cathedrals, don't you? That's one of the things you do together.
Well, we're both Anglo-Saxon enthusiasts. So on the tour, we went and visited many Anglo-Saxon sites, and we went to. We saw some Anglo-Saxon manuscripts and all that. It was very good.
Your level of access was such that I told my old director of studies the sort of manuscripts and treasures I'd been allowed to handle.
Yeah.
And she swore in my face.
Oh well, yeah, it's great.
He's handled a lot of
I can't get
treasures.
into nightclubs, but I can get into the Book of Kells. Which is a lovely little gay bar in Vauxhall. I don't know if you've been there.
Oh God!
So anyway, it's nice to be so relaxed around Pierre, because usually like, we're waiting to go on and it's all a bit. Woo!
That's true, yeah.
But
Do you
it's
both
good.
wear your? Because I imagine you in your velvet, Frank in his suited and booted. I imagine you like the sort of central characters of The Importance of Being Earnest, wandering around the cathedral.
Well,
Algernon.
I tend to wear the suit all the time. But Pierre's one of these suit bag guys who arrives cash,
Yeah.
and then there's a transformation.
Suddenly.
But I'm never off is the secret of it. So I think I might as well wear the stage gear.
Okay.
There you go. That's that summed up. Don't forget your breakfast trend buckers.
Oh, God.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Much to my slight horror, we're getting quite a lot of trend buckers in.
Well said. Yeah, what we got?
Carefully said. Morning. This is from 780. Pierre's got some as well, but I'll kick off with 780. Morning. My trend bucker is peanut butter on toast soldiers. Wait for it. Dipped into a soft boiled egg. And then 780 has gone to the trouble of a sort of egg emoji. Delicious smiley face emoji. That's actually Jeanette from Orpington.
Okay.
What say you?
I can feel my waters rising in my mouth. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that sounds quite nice. I'd put peanut butter on almost anything.
I suppose if it's with a saltier kind, it keeps it savoury with the egg. Otherwise, I'd be a bit.
I wonder if she's going smooth or crunchy.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, we weren't allowed smooth when I was younger.
No.
No.
Why is that? How so?
My mother just thought it wasn't very us.
It was a bit lower.
It was a bit. She saw it as a bit low.
a bit like buying grated cheese in a packet.
Yes, I think so. I think
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you should put the work in.
Yeah, you have to smooth your own.
Yeah.
She used to rolling pin the peanut butter for those who wanted smooth. Like my mum used to give my mates when they come round a cup of tea and then say, "Do you take sugar?" And if they said no, she'd say, "Don't stir it." Oh man! So
it's
that's
not
good.
just Jeanette we've heard
That sounds
from.
all right, though. That one. I thought they were
Yeah.
going to be grotesque.
Well,
Well, this one from 8350. I love a jam omelette for breakfast.
Oh no!
My granddad made me one once on holiday in France, and we just had lots of
He
eggs
didn't
and
know what
jam
he was
to use
doing.
up.
He didn't know what he was doing.
It's a bad sign when granddad starts to make jam omelettes.
Exactly.
But they say, but I really liked it, full stop. It disgusts other people.
I wonder, because, what people always say, cranberry juice on, salty stuff.
Yes,
Not cranberry juice, cranberry
I was going to
sauce.
say something else.
Yeah, that's...
Cranberry juice
No,
is
I've been
fair.
all right just lately.
Well, you said your waters were rising.
Yeah, exactly.
579, guys. This morning, this is another trend bucker. After being upsold several items, I love the concept of upselling, by the owner of our new local Turkish veg store yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
My husband and I had lavash bread with mascarpone cream, honey and strawberries. It was pretty good, even if it did set me back more than going out for breakfast.
That's... I used to do that when Indian restaurants started opening in Birmingham. We used to go and buy food that we didn't recognise and have a guess at how you cooked it. Sometimes it worked out great, and sometimes but we didn't like to ask. It's like in a bookshop. I'll find it myself.
Do you think it is lavash bread, or do you think it was lavish bread? And they've incorrectly transcribed a heavily accented man's upselling.
That's what it is.
I don't even know what upselling is. Can I own up
I know
to that?
because George Lamb introduced the concept to me. Are you familiar with his work?
I am. I like him with a nice mint.
He's fabulous, Lamb. George Lamb, I was at a restaurant once and George Lamb said to the man serving this, "Yeah, you're trying to upsell me that. And I'm not interested." And it's when it's going in hard. Pierre, what did you say on a
Oh, I
product?
see.
Maybe when they ask you if you'd like, you can have that on the side, an extra thing, a little topper. A little,
Yeah, it's the old £1 chocolate bar at WH Smith.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I feel I should give you an update, by the way. You might not be aware of this, Pierre, but I was sent some pies
yes.
by a pie, Mad O'Rourke's Pie Factory in Tipton in the West Midlands. Sent me 9 pies.
Is this a maths problem?
No, It might become one though. Then the next week I got the same amount of pies addressed to Lenny Henry.
Right.
And I said, I hope they last me. This was my joke. I'm going to upfront it as a joke. I hope they last me until Adrian Charles's pies arrive. Anyway, Adrian Charles's pies arrived on Wednesday. Now, I don't know whether I am just a pie portal.
The West Midlands Pie Portal.
Yeah. Some sort of, they think I'm a pie mule.
Yeah.
But, or did they hear it on,
Yeah.
I'm into that now. Am I being accused of pie laundering?
Oh.
But did they hear the Adrian Charles and think we will embrace this and send him some address to Adrian Charles?
Yes, because they're quite jaunty, the marketing department.
They are. They're jaunty. That is true. But it was the other thing, of course, is Adrian is vegan. So here's a maths thing. He could only utilise 8/9 of the pies which arrive.
That's higher a proportion than I would have guessed.
You would have thought no. There is a vegan one. There's a Jack the Lad, which is mushroom led.
No.
But
Which sort of West Midlands figure is next?
Cat Deely, I think, is the only one left.
Ozzy Osbourne's pies.
Yeah,
Winging
he's
their way
he's
to you.
more Birmingham though.
That's
I think. Where's Cat Deely from? I think she might be West Bromwich, like me. Cat Deely. She does the dancing thing now in America. What's it called over there? Strictly Come Dancing.
Dancing with the
one
Stars.
of the Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. Do they call? Has she ever done the joke when hosting it of calling the dancers on there deely boppers?
I think
Because
the
they're
Americans would fire her immediately.
Really? Do they have deely
I mean,
boppers?
I think-
Isn't it an American term?
I don't know if it's fallen out of use over there and it's become a sort of...
Fallen out of use?
Yeah.
What? It's a victim of political correctness.
I think so, yeah.
The deely
They've
bopper.
cancelled them.
In case you don't know, they're the sort of jocular antennae, which...
I had a pair.
Yeah. I think they're still out there.
We all had a producer's nodding.
Oh, I imagine the producer wears them most weekends.
I think she still wears them. And I love her for that. Can I just share this? John Hopkins, both of you.
Hopkins.
Being a man of simple tastes, I have only bucked the breakfast trend once. At a breakfast meeting in Belgium, the hosts brought in a tray of what the Flemish call cannibale, which was raw minced beef on a cracker. I blame the Trappist monks, personally.
A cannibale, I thought you were going to say, which is human flesh.
Yes.
That old human flesh prank they pull on visitors, the Belgians.
He blames the Trappist monks. There you
Well.
go. And I'm sorry. I apologise to you two.
We have a bit of a sudden left turn in terms of trend buckers
Okay.
in breakfast. Barry Chambers on Twitter says, I have spaghetti bolognese for breakfast at least twice when holidaying abroad in Spain.
That is... I noticed in when I was in Japan that the breakfast was just like sushi and all that. There was no sense of, I'll get your Weetabix out.
Yeah. Get
Yeah.
your Weetabix out. Well, I've heard some things shouted at me.
One of those. Deely boppers, by the way, I am. It's like thingamajig, isn't it? The word deely bopper means... I don't know about you, I say doodah if I can't think of something. Have you got the doodah? Deely bopper is like, where's me deely boppers, meaning the thing I can't remember the name of.
Oh, okay. I say flippity flop.
Do you?
Yeah.
Thingamajig.
What's your deely bopper equivalent? Hey, 12:15.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've got a lot of examples of the deely bopper.
Oh.
The thingamajig.
Oh, yeah.
The flippity flop.
My thing with flippity flop and thingamajig
Oh, here we go.
is there's a lot too many syllables. Doodah that I use is nice, dum-dum, and you're out of there.
Yeah.
Don't be hanging around for flippity jibbit.
It works very well for me, thank you.
I don't have the time.
Okay. We've got 707. My deely bopper equivalent is Ojima What's It.
Again, long.
That's from Jay in Wednesbury.
I quite like it though. It's good on consonants.
Ojima, what's it?
Yeah.
A respected Irish clan.
Yeah.
Impossible to find.
Could be a variation on the popular snack food
Yeah.
as well.
Yes, yeah.
What do you think of 096?
No, that's a rubbish one. Where's me 096?
Frank thinks everything's rubbish other than his one.
No,
Frank, what about this? Doobry doo.
yeah, that's all right.
Oh, okay.
Because it's got an element of ba-ba-da-da-da about it, which I like. It's of course I need them more and more as I get older,
Yeah.
as you can imagine. I'll give you a par example. This is the thing I noticed about me the other day. When I approach my motor car to get in it to drive,
Yeah.
I have a little look. Yeah.
A toad of Toad Hall.
But honestly, I swear to you this is true. I'm not saying it for comedy. I didn't even realise I did it, and I caught myself doing it the other day. I have a little look to check which side the steering wheel is on, so I don't go in the wrong door and make a fool of myself locally.
Like a transatlantic celebrity.
Yeah, I got... even my 9-year-old said to me, I think this is what made me think about it, last week or something. He said, "Oh, am I driving? Because I went to get in the wrong side." I have to visibly check it to make sure I'm in the right side. Now, that's not good, is it?
Well, I'm not a qualified medical professional.
Aren't you? I said to you, get a qualified... Harry Hill's on next week. He's a qualified... I once
He's
went
a
to him. I had
qualified
something
medical-
on my toe once at Edinburgh, and I went to see Harry Hill in his flat. I said, "Have a look at this, will you?" And he had the bag. You know the bag, the old doctor's bag. He had that
Really?
with him. Yeah.
I like the qualified. And then Bob Mortimer, lawyer.
Yes, solicitor, yes.
And I think there's another, Dara. Dara O'Brien is physicist.
Ben Miller,
Oh, what's he?
physicist as well.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
What have you two got?
I was a
Medieval
hitman
history.
in the Wolverhampton area. By the way, I've had a lovely card celebrating. Today is the birthday of the poet AE Housman. We have a thing on the show that every time he's mentioned, the siren goes off. And it's from Matt. That's all I know, but it's a lovely sign-off. Love and sunshine, says Matt. Morning, Frank, Emily and Alan. Wishing you all a very happy Housman, happy AE Housman birthday. Oh. And then a little quote from the man himself. When the journey's over, there'll be time enough to sleep. Yeah, we've all used that one in hotel rooms.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice if we were aldermen? Then we'd have some real input into local council decision making. Okay. I thought of a joke the other day for William Shakespeare. Too late now, I know.
A joke for him to
A joke
use.
for him to use. Which I think he would have
Extraordinary.
appreciated because he loved a pun.
Yeah.
A quibble, as Samuel Johnson, he said that a quibble, that sort of mad wordplay that he did, was the Cleopatra for which he lost his world and was content to lose it. Anyway, this is my joke for Shakespeare, and I honestly believe he would have used this. You know, the wife, Anne Hathaway, was in Stratford and he was in London.
Yes, I don't hear her often referred to as the wife.
Yeah, so he must. You know, when people like that, especially then, like, you know, he was a bit pre-woke, a little bit. Shakespeare. So you can imagine. I reckon when he referred to her, instead of calling Anne Hathaway, he could have called her Anne Athema because she was an anathema to him. What do you think?
Was she an anathema to him?
Yeah, I've decided they didn't get on well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, he lived in London, she lived in Stratford. Does that sound
that's
good
fair.
to you?
That's true, yeah.
I mean, people make a big fuss about separate bedrooms or about separate
Talent.
Postcodes. Pre-postcode.
Nice attempt at diversion, but answer the question, Minister. Anathema. What do you think?
Anathema. I agree that Shakespeare would have used it,
Well, there you go.
but I don't know if that's an endorsement necessarily, given some of the humour in Shakespeare's plays.
God, Novellie on Shakespeare. Can't believe it.
Can I ask you a question, Frank? Do you think you would have been quite good friends with Shakespeare?
Oh, man, yeah. We got the same shaped head for a start off. We'd look like two light bulbs in a showbiz mirror, side by side.
I think you would have gotten quite well.
Oh, man, he would have been my best celebrity mate ever.
I think you would have fallen out, though.
No, what, out of my doublet and hose? That's possible. I'm going to tell. I never repeat things I've just said, but I just told Pierre and Emily this.
Oh, no.
I went to the dentist this week to get me stitch out. And he said to me, Buzz was in with the orthodontist. Buzz is my 9-year-old son, and he said he's got a brace and all that. And he said, and when she asked him to open his mouth, he opened it, and it was completely packed with cotton wool. And he'd brought the cotton wool from home for that joke. So she went, oh, and then he said, but the great thing was, he took it out and just put it in his pocket, and job done.
Where do you think he might have picked that up?
I don't know. You beats me.
It's an admirable lack of... I feared the dentist as a kid, so the idea of having the guts to prank...
Yeah, to prank the dentist is
prank
great.
the dentist.
I mean, what's going to be in there next time, though? Dead rat.
Yeah, but at least Buzz is pranks. Buzz does high-quality pranks. Frank, do you know about Frank's April Fool pranks, Pierre? Has he told you about them?
Frankspeare.
He said... Frankspeare. Frankspeare.
No, Frankspeare. It's
Yeah,
what
Frankspeare.
when my mates were William Shakespeare, they'll call us Frankspeare, like Brangelina.
Celebrity couple. Frankspeare. Splitsville.
Me and him out together on the town, going on about the anathema. Hey! Oh, man. We'd have to go to Verona on our holidays.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean, and Pierre Novellie is with us this morning. You can all the way from the Isle of Man.
Yes.
Has anyone here seen Kelly? K-E-L-L-Y. Do you know it?
I do know it.
Okay, yeah. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. And remember, your favourite songs where they spell the word spoken. So they say, has anyone here seen Kelly? K-E-L-L-Y. Yeah. I got it. And there's I'm H-A-P-P-Y. Like, don't mention happy in front of the...
And there's M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E.
Of course.
Yeah.
And D-I-V-O-R-C-E became final today. Okay, there you go.
Glenn Maker. Do you remember?
Talk about Glenn Maker. Talk about Glenn Maker. Yes.
Glenn Maker has been in touch with us. Dear Frank, Emily and Alun,
Sorry, Pierre.
whatever happened to... That's something of a regular on this show, Pierre. Whatever happened to...
Do you want a jingle? Is it good enough for a jingle?
I'd say. Come on. We'll get
I've been
there.
let down by
Frank's Eurovision entry, Life is like a light in the darkness.
Oh, yeah. What did happen to that? I've been pipped again this year by... who is it this year?
Well, they get celebrities
Something
now.
like Raymond Honda, his name is.
You've so made
What is his name?
It's called Sam.
Sam Honda.
Well, yeah, last year it was the man with the questionable coat.
The man with... It was Joseph from the Old Testament. Let me guess, his brothers threw him into a hole.
No, he just wore a coat that I personally wouldn't have gone for. But that was my only issue with him. He did a lovely little job.
Yeah, how many points did he get?
0? I think it was
Zero
nil.
across the board, I think.
I think it was nil.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we going to do?
The Raymond Honda, we've got high hopes for. It is something like
Who
that.
knows what? It generally isn't Raymond Honda.
That would be a great name for a kind of pop star. It's the use of Raymond that he's used the full name.
Raymond Honda.
Yeah.
But you'll see when it comes out. You'll see the similarity to that name.
But it sounds like Raymond Honda.
Yeah, you'll see. It's that kind of a name.
You'll see.
You'll see. Is there any more
Anyway, so,
al
yeah,
fresco Monde?
Life is like a light in the darkness. I'll play it to you once, Pierre.
Yes,
it was
please.
Absolutely. I don't even know if we still got it back. Could we treat our readers if we could find it at some point?
Someone would ask the producer. She had a copy.
It was Frank at his absolute best.
I sang it impromptu, and then somebody did a thing with it. They took it from the podcast and then made it into
a proper song.
Remixed it.
And it did have a... I mean, obviously, if I did it again, I might want to clean it up a bit. But it did have a Eurovision feel to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't up there with... which is Eurovision Gold, but even so... Of the non-Baker file dressed performers, I think it was one of the best.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Let's find out what Novellie's been up to.
Yes, Pierre, in case you're not familiar with his work, there's still a few out there, Pierre, as I said, was my support act on, but as a also a fine and exciting career of his own. But he used to be on and then I'd be on. He was my ramp, my comedy ramp.
And then you'd go around the cathedrals together in your suits.
I suppose you could have described me as an end of the Pierre comedian.
Very good. How did that not come up during the long months of winter touring?
I know.
Do you know, Pierre, he saved that for his Frankspeare days.
That would be right in a manuscript.
Anyway.
What are the Novellie updates?
I recently, it's a struggle that everyone will go through at some point in their life, had to try and figure out what my dad would like for his birthday.
All right.
Which is always a tough... Dads are the hardest to buy for, I would say.
Where is your dad? Isle of Man?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also hard because a few places just don't deliver there.
No, I can imagine.
Do you not get deliveries?
I think you'll find Mad O'Rourke's and sort it out. That'll come to me.
Yeah.
And then I'll forward it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you're
what kind of a man is he? Is he? I'm guessing he's a sort of man's man, as they used to call him. Would that be fair?
I think maybe in the UK he could be a man's man, but I think by South African standards he's a sort of academic, reasonable chap.
He's sort of AJ Taylor.
Yeah, but to be a man's man in South Africa is a ridiculous level of...
Yeah, you've really got to be... you've got to have a rhino whip. Yeah, maybe that's not...
I don't think there's enough testosterone in the world possible for that.
So what was the... where did it go with the gift?
Well, he's a man who likes an elaborate cracker.
Okay.
With the ones that sort of have treats embedded within.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't all crackers have treats embedded within?
Perhaps spiritually.
Yeah. I'm thinking definition of cracker. Oh, I'm thinking Christmas cracker.
Oh, there you are.
No, they do all have treats embedded.
What cracker are you thinking of?
Cheese and crackers.
For a birthday?
Lovely present. Nice packet of crackers. Smashed to bits on its travel to the Isle of Man.
Smashed to bits on the ferry, broken in two by...
So you can always crumble it over chili, American diner style.
No, elaborate sort of cheese and cracker arrangements are a hit, I think. And so that was
really?
I mean, we're talking upscale stuff.
Yeah. I don't care how upscale. Crackers for a birthday.
Cheese and biscuits, my favourite.
Oh, my God. Oh, no, he didn't.
Dad?
No biltong. Where's the biltong?
To be fair, some of these arrangements, a bit of...
there was some biltong.
Iberian meats. It's not exotic if you're from there, so you've got to go for the old dried Italian...
Yeah, I can see
Not
that.
that exotic.
So it was a big, like a hamper of.
We got a hamper. Yeah, I went hamper ways.
Oh, you went impersonal hamper.
I constructed it actually.
If you're basing it on his personal tastes,
Yeah.
Which is what, crackers?
Elaborate biscuits, cheese, fortified wines.
smooth peanut butter.
Oh. Would you have any sweet meats in there?
Maybe in the elaborate biscuits category, you've got some
Malted milk.
malted milks. Yeah.
How do you feel about getting that from Buzz?
I've
Do you
got,
like that?
I think so. Yeah. I quite like a food thing.
Okay.
The postman came yesterday and said to me, I got a parcel for Frank Skinner. I thought, yes, that is me.
Yeah.
You're looking at me. And I opened it, and it was Royal Television Society Award for Best Documentary. Just postman. It's just in a
Oh, Frank, what was that for?
I told you about it the other week. It was
yes,
for
you did.
Boswell, but I didn't think it would come in. The postman would bring it.
Did you give him a short speech?
I thought it might be like Ava Ertzegova presenting it, not some bloke in a red coat at my doorstep. Oh, the old award giving has gone down. He didn't do a speech or anything.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
So,
Can I talk to you boys about something, please? Thank you.
did we find out if Raymond Honda is the correct name of this year's Eurovision?
Talking of Eurovision, actually, Frank, are we going to give the people what they want? Because it was cited earlier that you had essentially written your own Eurovision entry.
Well, like I was. You know what? I was acting the giddy goat on the radio,
Yeah.
pretending I was doing a Eurovision, but somebody did do a nice job in it. I have it here. I'll fade it when it gets boring. Okay, I'll have to judge
Okay.
that. I'm really not confident it's going to work,
Okay.
but let's hope for the best.
I can see Frank as a sort of German crooner.
And life is like a light that's shining on in the darkness. You get the picture.
That is like. That is a track from one of those guys who you read about as like, oh, of course, he was there in the studio in Berlin with Bowie. And
Yeah.
he never quite achieved the same thing internationally, but domestically,
his cabaret act.
Yes.
Late night. He did a bit of Brel.
Yeah, and there's a photo of them looking a bit worse for wear on top of the Berlin Wall.
Yeah, with hair grease back and a hint of
Hair
eyeshadow.
greased back, is that his name?
That's his name, hair grease back.
What I like about hair
It's like Baron. Who's that in Danger Mouse? It's like Baron Ridgeback or something.
what I like about hair grease back is that
Hair grease back.
Hair
Good
grease
day,
back.
hair grease back.
I feel with hair grease back, with Life is Like a Light, there's a slight note of rising panic in his voice that he feels his career is somewhat at an end.
There's a lot of the faded vaudeville in the tone there. Yeah,
He sounds a
I
bit
think it's more
desperate.
Weimar
yes.
cabaret.
Yes, yeah, the grief
I'm
of it.
guessing he's got fishnet stockings on, like the MC in cabaret, that kind
Yeah.
of.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
news just in. Raymond Honda, the Eurovision, is actually Sam Ryder.
Oh, okay.
But you can see how I
When
got
you
there.
say news just in, did Buzz text you that?
No, it's actually been handed to me by the producer written in blue biro on a scrap of paper. But that I think Sam Ryder.
Sam
You do Ryder Honda.
That's true.
Yeah, but you know what? Who my money's on hair grease back this year.
Yeah.
Oh well, I reckon this is his last chance. And he's absolutely pushed the boat out. He's got
all those vitamins though from Donald Trump's doctor.
got Kraftwerk doing the producing for him. I think it's really going to be good. Lie.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Radio.
Can I chat to you boys about something? Thank you. It's the findings.
I was going to respond. Go on.
The findings of a survey. This way, and I don't know about you, Pierre, but I love the findings of a survey.
Oh, God, yeah. It's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
I prefer the findings of every part of the survey. I'd say the findings are my favourite.
Yes, me.
Yeah.
I'm never asked to take part in a survey. Do you know what I
I
mean?
had to do a questionnaire about my son's school
Oh, did you?
this week.
Oh.
And it was one of those that said, agree strongly, disagree strongly. So you have to actually sort of go deep into yourself and to see how you feel about it. I found that problematic. I'm a big fan of NA in those things.
Aren't we all, dear? This survey was commissioned by, I don't know if we're allowed to mention them, Frank, a global media empire. Yeah, that's okay, that covers it. And it was an investigation into people's habits whilst WFH.
Working from home.
You're so young.
Yes. Well, us three, I think, all do
Yeah.
a fair bit of working from home. I didn't know. I read this thing. I didn't know about the was it 3-2? Is that
The 3-2. So 3 days in the office,
Yep.
2 days watching Lorraine and drinking.
Yes.
It's what we used to call flexi time. I don't know if that term is. I think it disappeared with flexi disc. Do you remember
I
those?
think it disappeared with luncheon vouchers.
Flexi disc was a thinner vinyl, which was much more. You got a much more wobbly album, and everyone said, "Oh, it's great 'cause it's very wobbly." There's no other pluses to it at all. It didn't
Really?
really catch on. I had an entire Elvis box set of flexi discs and a little envelope which contained a piece of his clothing.
Oh.
Anyway, sort of a mustard crimpling thing. I can't imagine.
That'll go up like Tinder if you put that.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't light any.
I don't put it anywhere where it's near
Put it
an
near your
electric
Dunhill lighter.
fire.
No.
No.
It's well, what this survey discovered was that the average home worker takes at least 3 power naps a week. 3. Discuss.
That
What is a power nap as opposed to a nap?
I think a power nap is done with a certain attitude, isn't it? I think when I think power nap, I'm thinking Churchill/Margaret Thatcher. These are the classic, the power nap. They're in the power napping chair.
And
And it's
Einstein.
the idea that very smart people, they just need a little reboot. You know, switch the computer off and back on again.
Yes.
But I think the idea is that you have so much control. You're such a person who runs your life. You've got your hands on the steering wheel of life. Whenever I speak as a man who can't remember which side of the car my real steering wheel is, that you can say, I'm going to sleep now, and then you just go to sleep like that.
Yeah.
And I think they do about, it's as little sometimes as 20 minutes, but such is their determination to sleep well that it's so profound that they come out of it utterly refreshed. That is how it works, I think.
It's chilling.
It is. There's something. Well, the fact that it's Margaret Thatcher and Churchill, you're talking about.
Well, I like the Dali. Was it Dali who had the approach to napping? I believe he called it slumber with a key. Are you familiar with slumber with a key?
Ah, yes.
Do you want to hear about slumber with a key? It doesn't involve Tim Key, by the way. It's not a tell-all.
That's good. Okay, let's kiss and tell about Tim Key. As if
slumber.
Yeah, as if the News of the World, if it still existed, would use a pun on a Salvador Dali sleeping technique for their headline.
They know their crowd.
Slumber with a key.
Also, I don't remember too many kiss and tells going, my slumbers
Slumber.
with. I like it, though.
I'm gonna. The producer's giving me.
Oh, then I'll tell you what it is. Do you want to know about slumbering with a key?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I love it, and I love any slumber-based cliffhanger. I think is good. I just like saying slumber. I've realised now.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
One of the things that shocked me about the working at home survey is how many people work in their pyjamas.
Oh, yeah.
That to me sounds like a depressing. Also, I only wear a pyjama jacket. I don't know how the cleaner would feel when she came in and I was sitting on the sofa tapping away.
Pierre, Frank... Oh, I tell you what, we left the nation on a cliffhanger.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Do you remember what it was?
We did, yeah, that was bad.
Do you remember what it was?
The slumber cliffhanger.
I think I need to clean this up. Bear in mind I would be sort of wearing a laptop, so there would be a modesty laptop. So it would be all right. I just want to clear that up. I don't want anyone to think I would confront the cleaner with anything.
With the top cap pyjama shirt, which is what he favours.
Exactly.
Yes.
Anyway, so what was it? It's to do with slumbering.
It was slumber with a key.
Yeah.
Slumber. Can I say I worked with the British boxing legend Chris Eubank recently?
Of course you did.
And someone used the word utensil, and he stopped the show and said, I was really pleased to hear someone use the word utensil, which is such a beautiful word. Okay.
Stop the whole show for that.
Yeah.
Do you know, I slightly love him.
I love him for that. That was great.
What a brilliant thing to do.
Utensil. Who
Slumber
knew?
with a key
Yeah.
was... I think you're familiar with it, Pierre, are you?
I am, yes.
What do you see it as?
Well, certainly what I've been told is that it comes from the Spanish king. I can't remember which one, but he would sit in his throne.
Carlos. Would it be Carlos?
It's
Or
usually...
Alphonse.
Okay.
Alfonso or Carlos, one of the two.
Yeah.
And he would sit on his throne, and for his siesta, it would last just long enough. He would hold in his right hand a large sort of brass key, and the siesta would last however long it took for him to fall asleep enough that the key would slip from his grasp and clatter to the floor, thus waking him up.
Yes. And I believe, I mean, Darley possibly stole it from the king, who knows? But Darley
They're all
would talk about
Spaniards
this.
together.
Yeah.
Maybe it became a Spanish thing
All right,
after that.
Armada. But he claimed that was the moment of genius, creative genius, just FYI, so that he would fall asleep and he didn't ever want to fall fully into stage 2 sleep.
Yeah.
So you hold the key, the minute it clatters, that's when you're falling into a stage 2. That's when you wake up, that's when you will create your best possible work.
So he'd wake up and see that he'd left his clock near the fire.
Yeah, exactly.
And go, ha-ha.
Yeah, and he hadn't put that ant powder down.
Well, there's a lobster on the telephone.
Yeah, oh, man, where did I put that? Oh, no.
This is chaos in here.
Yeah, exactly. I need to sort my life out.
Stop having all these naps.
Hold on, I can't get outside. My moustache is too wide for the door frame. What's going on with me? I need to start
Do
again.
you think David Baddiel went round to Salvador Dali's house and said, is it always going to be like this?
That's what he said at my house, because it's
Really?
untidy.
Oh, yes, that's right.
I just tell people it's a squat now. And they don't question any further.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novellie. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
579. The Danger Mouse character we were trying to think of is Baron Greenback.
Greenback, of course, because he was a frog, wasn't he?
Mm.
Yeah, frog's green and toad's brown. Pierre.
I'm going to agree with that.
You're of the people I know who would know that fact, you're the most likely.
I mean, of the people in this studio, definitely.
Well, I think in the world. If David Attenborough was in here, I would have gone to Pierre first for the answer.
If David Attenborough was in here, you well know he'd have started a fight between some sort of spider and some mite.
Yeah.
Filmed it.
He
Refused to intervene.
sold tickets.
Honestly, I saw one recently. I mean,
What was it?
it was a whale and her
Not a seal.
and
Calf.
baby, a calf. Yeah, single mother, in other words, and she was on a trek, and she started being followed by these 3 killer whales, and they were after the child. And anyway, she's in a panic. She's you know, come on, hurry up, and they got the child. And they didn't even eat it. They ate a tiny bit of it and just left it. And the poor mother then you saw going off on her own. It was absolutely heartbreaking.
What did he say?
I thought a few things about it. I thought, if I saw a woman and a child and 3 louts after,
Louts?
you'd like to think you'd step in.
Especially if they were going to eat the
Yeah,
child.
and you'd think at Attenborough, if anybody would accept
Louts.
that the animals have got, that species, they've got some rights, they've got feelings.
Cannibales.
Not only did he not step in,
Yeah.
but what he did was film it for profit.
And he laughed and laughed and
Oh,
laughed.
no, he didn't,
He didn't laugh. What he says,
didn't
what
laugh.
sort of thing does he say, Frank? He says,
He says,
go on,
I think
get
he
him.
said, that's another one in the can. I think another award booked. I think he said. And his awards, he gets present. They don't come in the post. His awards, he gets a proper celebrity giving them.
I mean, what people always say as well, where's the Where the World?
Yeah.
I mean, tooth extraction, Where the World. I don't want to watch it in HD.
No, it's rubbish. That if it was a human being, you wouldn't just film that happening to people.
He'd be
Would you?
arrested.
It'd
Quite
just be
rightly
wrong.
so.
He's got people. I'm not expecting a 90-odd-year-old bloke to go in, to dive into the water.
Knife in between his teeth.
But he's with a team of, they're all very scubaed.
Yes,
very
yeah.
scubaed up.
I'd
These
like it if,
people.
as the first bite sinks into the calf, he just says, ka-ching.
Yeah. It was hot. It was really, really upsetting. I thought horrible.
I can't watch those things.
On the subject of both aquatic matters and doodahs,
Yes.
we've got a 9685 saying a few words from the Royal Navy, which is an intimidating opening.
Yeah,
Any
it is.
message.
It is.
What have I done? You
I hope
wonder?
no one turns on though, and you're just saying that.
Yes. Uh-oh.
No, go on.
A few words from the Royal Navy. Scrinson Doobery or Dushank Flip Flop.
Oh,
That's from
they've
Dan.
gone typical of the Royal Navy. They've gone hyphenated.
You sound like
With
two
the-
characters from A Tale of Two Cities.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, Scrinson Doobery in his rag and bone shop.
Yes.
No, is that's standard naval bants.
According to Dan and Paddock Wood.
Well, I'll take
Okay.
their word for it.
Yeah.
What
I
about
wonder
these
what their
naps then?
hornpipes are like.
Sparkling.
I'll get back to you on that. What do you think of these naps, boys?
Oh, the power naps.
you-
I'm incapable. I don't have the self-restraint.
Yeah.
It makes sense of wearing pyjamas for work if you're just going to go to sleep when you feel like it. Extremely practical.
Yes, there's a real sort of Charlie Bucket's grandparents sort of vibe to this.
I think I'd wear a little shorty silk kimono.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a bit of a dispute. I sometimes like to tell people what's been going on off air.
Yeah.
We've had a bit of a robe dispute.
Yeah.
Robespierre.
Robespierre.
Oh, that's very,
Very
very
good.
fine.
Thank you.
I mean,
Very
hold
good.
on, I need to find something. This is celebrating the Robespierre. Yeah, we were talking about, it's a thing we've talked about a lot on here, my thing that I don't know when you're supposed to wear a robe. And Pierre, I'm glad to say, has joined me on this. But Emily has a bath with candles, a candle-lit bath. And then slips into is it silk?
Well, when I just said to Frank,
Is it rayon?
no,
law.
he's not allowed on the robe.
Okay.
When I told Frank that I like to get my robe all fluffy and warm pre my bath, and my bath, I just said I lay out a few candles, I have a TV show, and I have some bubble bath. And Frank said, "Oh, sounds like a Sting video."
Well, it's got that feel to it. How do you get it fluffy and warm? Mrs. Oh, you don't have to answer that.
Oh.
But how do you fluff? How do you fluff a robe?
Well, I mean,
I'd like to sing that to the tune of "How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria."
That would be Herr Griesbach's next attempt at a...
yes.
How do you fluff and warm a robe on bath night? How do you do it?
Well, you can give it a quick 20 seconds in the tumble dryer, although I don't recommend that because it's a terrible waste of energy.
Yeah, it's all right. You're amongst friends.
Okay. Well, that's what I do then.
Okay, fair enough.
There you go.
Okay, but it's just I find the robe such a fabulous ramp garment, and I know there are other readers who agree with me. I think you two are the outliers.
I think it's the transitional nature of it that I think we're struggling with, because we would emerge, from the shower or bath, dry ourselves off, and then it's time to get
And
dressed.
then put clothes on.
Yes, there's this
Hang on.
sort of interstitial...
clothes.
Yeah.
No, excuse me.
It's a bit like having a special sock for in between putting on your other socks and your shoes.
All right. Never mind the special sock stuff.
What I find extraordinary is that you think you're dry after one towel that you probably had for 10 years.
I don't think I'm dry. I get a bit of clinging as I put my jeans on or whatever
that
they are.
sounds nice.
Because I'm a bit wet. But I know the clothes will deal with that themselves.
You see,
It needs to be dry.
What I choose to do
We'll
is...
all be dry a long time. Let's enjoy being moist while we can.
I prefer not to have wet clothes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you implying that we sort of go straight from a bath into desperately tugging on denim?
Yeah, Emily thinks we're getting dressed in the shower.
Soaking
a bit like that tattoo video when they're in their wet school. All the things she said.
Leaving the house absolutely.
I have a dry. The towel. It's made of the same stuff as a lot of robes.
Yeah.
I don't fluff it. I don't.
I would not, honestly, if I didn't have a robe, I don't know what I'd do.
I'm starting to think you have wetter water in your house than I do.
Yeah. Well, anyway, if I had a robe, I'd hammer in the morning. That's another problem with it. Accessibility.
Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I like 096, my kind of person, because they've said having a power nap equals just couldn't stay awake.
Yeah, I think that might be right. But who's
I
going to
agree.
tell Margaret Thatcher that? Imagine Sir Geoffrey Howe saying, "I'll tell you what I think, Margaret."
Not before her nap.
Also,
No.
people that tend to be sort of famous nappers, also, I'm just saying, usually they're quite well known as being fond of whiskey as well.
Oh, are they?
And in my Churchill.
Margaret Thatcher wasn't.
Oh,
was
she loved whiskey.
Did she?
Yeah, it was her tipple.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's my specialist subject.
Oh, that's burst
Tipples
my
of-
Margaret Thatcher bubble.
She loved a whiskey. I think she picked it up off Dennis because he liked it. And Churchill, of course,
Yes.
got through a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, he did. He did like it.
It's
I'll tell you what I like about pyjamas, though. Breast pocket. I like a breast pocket.
Yeah.
Very handy if you're working at home for pens, robbers, and stuff like that.
Yes, true.
That is
What,
a
do
good.
you genuinely not wear a... would you sleep in a pyjama bottom?
Not in the summer. I would just wear the. But I don't think we should dwell on it. But the pockets. The one thing. One of the things I don't like about summer is pockets.
Oh, yes.
Because when you got a jacket and everything on, you've got, I carry lots of bits. And when you're going out and you're just in short, I have to wear those shorts that have like 9 pockets to cover
Yes,
my storage.
like a roadie.
Yeah, touch for the very first time. And a lot of them haven't been. I went bomb bag one summer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's,
And that was great. I mean, I do envy you ladies with your handbags. Because I had loads. I was heavily laden.
Yes.
My bomb bag runneth over.
tell me about it.
But there's nothing I can do about it. But I don't know, the next year, the next summer, I remember thinking, should I get the bomb bag out again? And you can't have the same party twice. I've always felt that. Yeah. So I've never worn it since.
Never returned.
But that was the secret for me.
They're quite on trend again now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are always telling me stuff about that I used to like. Think I'm ahead of the curve.
No.
Oh, no, I didn't think so.
They also, in this survey, it was the 3 power naps a week, but they also said the average person starts their working from home day at 8:20 a.m. I don't believe that for a minute.
No.
No.
Okay. Do you
What do
believe
they
that?
mean by start, though, as well?
Yes.
You get in and put the microwave on, read the paper,
Yeah.
prayers, obviously.
Yes. They left that out of the survey.
No, I mean, does anyone who works from home, don't you the next thing you think is they don't do as much as if they'd be in the office.
Of course they
because
don't.
they're lazing around, they got their pyjamas on.
Yeah.
That's my presumption, but I know a few people who spend a great deal of their time when they're in the office pretending, or sort of miming, typing.
Yeah, true, there is
So
that.
I suppose it takes the miming out of it.
But it said they watch 4 television programmes a week, which you wouldn't do at work.
No, you'd have
Speak
to
for
just
yourself.
imagine them.
Speak for yourself. I've watched 3 series of Doctor Who whilst this show's been on.
I don't think that's correct, is it? If you'd have picked another programme, I might have believed you. No, I watch all my TV now in instalments.
Do you? Would you ever watch TV during the day?
If it was Test cricket,
Yes, interestingly, sport I will make an exception for.
it doesn't feel like TV sport.
I can't I can't watch TV in the day.
Really?
It makes me very depressed.
I think what you can't watch is things that are made for TV during the day.
Oh, Murder,
But
She
things
Wrote.
that
That's
are
the worst
happening
thing.
anyway, but are on TV. It's all right
Yeah.
to watch those.
Like the news.
yeah,
The
I think that's the
Olympics I will
distinction.
do.
The Olympics.
But an episode of Murder, She Wrote, I mean, that is just...
But honestly, I will watch 20 minutes of a programme one night and then 20 minutes the next night.
Gosh.
That's how I do it. I treat telly like a panettone. I just tear a bit off. Do you know what I mean?
Throughout the festive season.
I wouldn't eat a whole panettone. I tear a bit off and wrap it back up again and have another bit
I
tomorrow.
find your self-control alarming.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Pillow talk.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Guys, what do you think of people who go to the cinema in the day? You're talking about watching TV shows we think can be a bit depressing.
I went to the cinema in the day once on tour in Stoke, and former World Cup winner Gordon Banks was in there on his own.
Really?
Yeah.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
It's definitely something that comedians do when they're in a different town for the whole day before a show.
And goalies.
And goalies. Those are the two people who do it.
I quite like cinema on my own because a lot of my going to things is slightly impaired by wondering what the other person is thinking and whether they're hating it and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yeah, so to be free of that. Yeah, absolutely.
The problem with cinema's okay. Theatre, you end up in the interval sitting on your own in the theatre, which is like an Edward Hopper painting. You just look like a tragic, lonely figure, and that's not so good.
No.
But you know.
Or like a mad fan.
Yeah, people think, oh, go to the theatre on their own. You can feel people, when they come back in thinking, oh,
Hasn't moved.
yeah. That's. Can I just read? They asked people who worked at home. They asked them for the pros and cons, and there were 5 cons, as it were.
Yeah.
4 of them were banter. They missed the banter. Another one, I wrote these down because I was interested by them. Banter, and then interacting with colleagues.
Okay.
Banter, I call it. Catching up on the latest gossip, also known as banter. And then feeling connected to people. Or banter. That's what you miss is the people.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what they're driving at there, isn't
Exactly.
it?
It's all right to say
4
that.
responses.
Yeah, and that is. I remember when my partner Kath left an office job, and she said what she missed most of all was conversations at the kettle. You're making a cup of tea, and you have a bit of a
great show title.
conversations at the kettle. Yeah, it's,
Radio 4.
What you really want is a sort of LA club called the Kettle, where that's staged. I don't know if that exists. And of course, if you watched the Kettle, it would never, inevitably, really take off.
Well, what about when I worked in fashion magazines and a dear friend of mine, Tony, who you've met, Frank, who used to edit Wallpaper magazine, very smart. Are you familiar with it, Pierre? Yeah?
Wallpaper magazine?
Yeah.
I've never missed an issue.
It's a very chic interiors, architecture style
chic.
magazine.
I've used it.
He writes a column in there.
Yeah.
But what I loved is that because they were so aspirational on the staff, they wouldn't allow a microwave. in the kitchen. I saw someone I'm going to say they wouldn't allow. I saw someone put it in a cupboard because they said it was aesthetically unappealing. Okay.
Used to get a lot of bad. Remember the days of employee blinded but working next to microwave? All those stories.
Oh, the microwave panics.
The microwave. It was
I still don't have one because my mother wouldn't allow us to.
I live by mine. When I get up on a Saturday morning, I've already moistened porridge the night before and put it in the microwave ready for cookage.
Well,
Cookage?
Since you mentioned porridge, James Stapleton gets in touch in terms of trend buckers.
Okay.
Breakfast trend buckers.
Yeah, I remember it. Seems a long time ago now.
He says, I know he opens.
Remind me, I've got to tell you something I saw on BBC Breakfast this morning. Speaking of breakfast,
Was it
carry on.
cookage?
Yeah, no.
It's self-deprecating. He says, I know this isn't what you're after. We'll decide that.
Yeah. I will be the judge of that.
He says, but a guy at work puts a whole tin of tuna in his porridge. It's revolting.
Oh.
Probably the best strategy I've come across for getting everyone to know who you are.
Oh, yeah. That is it. He's the guy who... Yes.
Yeah.
Well, of course, the Scots famously salt their porridge. I don't suppose it's that far from doing that.
Yeah, but I can't
From the
see
sea.
the three bears enjoying that. That would
No.
give them a shock of their lives.
No, true.
Yeah.
The porridge tuna. What do you call it? Tuna porridge, I suppose.
Yeah.
I had some sort of porridge at the Fat Duck.
Snail.
Snail porridge.
Snail porridge. Is that more ridiculous?
True.
8, 12, 15. Terrible survey being carried out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
Now, I was telling you, so I saw something on BBC Breakfast this morning which made me have a bit of a chuckle.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know the names of these particular presenters, but there's always a man and a woman on there. And the woman, she's like a very sort of, like a head girl kind of a... She's the head girl that you're secretly in love with, but you're too frightened to tell her because she might hit you with a hockey stick. She's got that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they had a man being interviewed who was in Belfast, not the place, but the film.
The Kenneth Branagh.
Kenny Branagh
Ken Branagh.
has done this. And they had him talking about, the film and how great it was to make it and et cetera, et cetera. And then he came back to the studio and the guy said to the head girl, he said, have you seen Belfast? She said, yeah, not for me, really. I don't like it.
Oh, my God.
She said, it was sort of, I didn't love it, but it was, the kid was good. I thought, wow, respect to Mondo. It's this, the Mark Commode, she's broken the Mark Commode, as in mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had this great moment of, not really.
God.
Yeah.
Someone's tearing their hair out in a PR department somewhere.
Well, I don't know if she can stop it now. It's a bit of it's already on its trajectory to success.
Well, it's not something you expect of BBC Breakfast, which is why I like her.
I think the trouble is we're getting up early in the morning is you don't know quite what you're saying.
Yes.
I was on BBC Breakfast and Bill Turnbull said to me, now, you've done some terrible jokes, haven't you? And he rattled off these subjects. And I said, yeah. I was just... And he went... and then there was it's just completely... And I was just tired. I was tired. If you like, I did those jokes. And that was, so it sort of got me. If I'd tried to defend him, it probably would have become a bigger thing.
Yeah.
But not that time of the morning.
You were so tired that you automatically followed the sort of aristocratic, never apologise, never explain.
No, it wasn't even the house. Yeah, I was just fact checking.
Did you count them off on your fingers as you went?
I like you've done some terrible jokes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Bill.
Coming up next.
Yeah, exactly. And now how to make the perfect flan.
I tell you what I like though. I like the brunch one. What's that one?
Sunday brunch.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
Sunday brunch. What is the the advice they always say to you, the same thing on Sunday brunch. You have to do a photo for the PR.
Oh, yeah.
The photographer always says, not holding a knife, please.
Really?
Yeah.
In case of future revelations.
Just it's not good for the show. Could be, blah blah blah, making light of blah blah.
Oh, God.
Now, where do they stand on forks?
Well, they never mentioned forks.
As long as you don't hold them overhand above your head,
Yeah, that's it.
like a trident, they're okay.
No, so good to know. Okay, so Pierre, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to see you. I miss the rustle of velvet.
Yes.
But, Emily, I'm not going to thank you because you're here every week.
Okay. Thanks, Bill Turnbull.
Okay. So, if the good Lord's...
Start again.
So, yeah, start again. Can we cut that live? Oh, that would have changed things if I'd known that.
Yeah.
So, if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now, get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.